Right. So there's this thing that happens with me. So I should say my name is Midé. I'm a singer-songwriter, musician, producer. Something happens with me right about now. I'm in the cycle of kind of promoting my EP and talking about, the good music that I've just put out recently. And this starts to happen in the middle of that ikigai zone, or I should say right after that ikigai zone. And ikigai is this word that I came across not too long ago, and I'll go into that a little bit more later. But so what starts to happen is I kind of get lost, and I kind of feel like I'm sinking. And I'm sure this is something that many other creators, many other artists, filmmakers, producers, what have you, have felt. And it kind of feels like you're lost. It kind of feels like I've just done this important thing, and I've just shared this important thing with everybody else. And in the middle of that, I kind of start to feel like I'm lost. I kind of start to feel like I'm sinking. And the way it happens to me is I get this picture like I'm underwater, right? So I'm not at the top, but I'm also not at the bottom. So I'm kind of just in the middle. And for me, my pattern previously had been to fight through it, struggle through it, throw my arms around, and pretend sometimes that I'm making progress when really I'm just sinking further. But in doing so, I was using up valuable energy. I was using up all my energy, but still sinking. And it meant that I was in that state for a lot longer, because not only was I sort of flailing my arms back and forth, but it also meant that I was feeling like I was failing because I was trying to do something and not succeeding at it. Now instead, and this was my turning point, was thinking, wouldn't it be better for me to let myself sink a little further, right? Get to the bottom. And that way I'd still have some energy to spring myself up and spring myself out, as opposed to throwing my arms back and forth and still sinking. But then when I get to the bottom, I'm kind of spent, or even more spent, and I've used up all my energy, and now I have no sort of reserve energy to spring myself back out of the slump, if you like. I should say it's just an analogy, and I don't really mean for, I'm not really talking about the deep end of an ocean, or, I'm not even talking about a pool, really. I'm just kind of using it as a picture of how it leaves me feeling, and the picture that's in my mind when I kind of think of myself in this period. It's probably a better way, I found, because clearly the desire is there, and I'm obviously willing. Otherwise I wouldn't be, throwing my arms and flailing about the place trying to rise. So I'm obviously willing, and there's obviously a desire to do it, but my old way was kind of just leaving me spent. And when I did eventually hit the bottom, I was too tired, or had been failing at doing something that I then had other emotions on top of what I was already feeling. So that kind of wasn't working out for me. And the truth is, either way, I found you'd still get to the bottom unless somebody else intervenes or the situation changes. But you would still get to the bottom. Now, it's just whether or not you hit the bottom and still have some energy to spring and push yourself up, or you get to the bottom and feel worse because you've been failing at trying to get yourself, out. So how it looks for me in a practical sense is on those days when I feel like I've run out of steam and I can't even bring myself to rub two brain cells together to have a thought about anything, is to take a pause and kind of just go with the flow of it. For me, it is either I read a book and then go for a walk, or look at the fix-it list in my house and see what I can DIY to fix around the house. And this is something different, is I try not to just kind of watch something on the same screen that I do my work on. So I wouldn't just open a different tab or a new browser tab or something and try and watch a movie or a show or something, because it kind of leaves me in the same space and I don't feel like I've moved on to do something different. Now, the cinema, that's different. It's a big screen, but it's not the same screen that I do my work on. So cinema counts, and reading a book and going for a walk and doing some DIY, all of these things count. But I just kind of move myself away from, from my norm, because the old me would sit there and I would fight it as hard as I could, right? Because every millionaire motivational speaker that I've watched has said, you've got to push through the fog, and you have to sit there, and that's where the real work and that's where the magic happens, is you have to push through and you have to do the things. And it's all, if you can do that, if that's your style and that's your method and that works for you, great. For me, I have found the spring comes when I let myself find the bottom a lot quicker. And then that way I still have the energy to really push out. Sometimes it sounds like I'm saying do these things and become a slob, but no. For me, doing these things can take an hour. It can take 2 hours. Very likely, it usually takes about half a day, or sometimes even a day. But the point is that I let myself sit and I let myself go through the motions of something completely different from what it is I am struggling with. I mean, this can sound very counterproductive. You don't really want to take time out of scheduled time to read a book or to go for a walk. For some people in different fields, it's not really practical to do that. So, and I'm not trying to prescribe how to do whatever it is you do. I'm kind of just describing what works to me, or a new kind of pattern that I've found that kind of pushes me and, gets me out of my funk. And the important thing is that for me, the spring, once I hit the bottom, was or has been so worth it. Like, I can't describe the level of creativity that comes out of it. From that spring, suddenly I'm able to focus for a lot longer. I'm able to pay attention, like really zero in on some things that need my attention. And from doing all of that work and having all of that focused time, I just feel so much more rewarded for so little time. What I mean is, if I can focus for 5 minutes, the kind and the amount of work that I can get done in that 5 minutes, so much better than if I was fighting and pushing through and I still have the same 5 minutes. I'd only manage maybe, I don't know, a minute's worth of work or something. But if I after coming back from my spring, that same 5 minutes, immense, it feels bigger and it just feels larger, and I'm able to get so much more done in that same time. So to summarize, just remember, find the bottom quickly. Get there, let yourself sink a little further, and then conserve your energy, spring up out of it, and then boom, all the creative energy is back and you're able to go on for much longer. Just try not to fight it and try not to sit through. In my experience, it hasn't paid off to sit through the fog and, bash my head in with my guitar or whatever else it is. Anyway, that's just something that I wanted to share. I'm not really prescribing it. I'm kind of more just describing what my pattern or what my method has been of recent. And I know that this entire creativity journey has been educational for me. And I can only imagine how it's been for other creatives or the artists, filmmakers, producers, and, we're all on the same journey or similar journeys. So that's it. That's it from me. Thank you for watching. And if you've enjoyed listening, please find it in your heart to subscribe and share this with a friend. I'm not sure if that's still something people do, but thank you for watching. My name is Midé.